What is our policy when it comes to allowing a male prisoner to be transitioned into a female prison?
This is not a president that's afraid of anything.
That fentanyl they took came during the last administration.
Joe Biden is not afraid of anything and also goes off on a little bit of a tangent and gets himself in some hot water. Also, Lindsey Graham asked Merrick Garland, hey, what is the process with men wanting to go in female prisons? Greta Thunberg, climate activist, got arrested again. And also, we did it, ladies and gentlemen. We stopped hate last night. Had a fun event last night with Charlie Kirk in Santa Barbara, and some hilarious stories have come from it. All that and more coming up on this episode of Daily Caller Live. My name is Jobob. Thanks so much for tuning in. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
2, 1.
Here we go!
Might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually their name, Jobob.
Live from the dingy bunker, completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on today. It is Thursday, March 2nd, the year of our Lord 2023. A lot of stuff happening around the world and around the globe. I think I complain about this not every day, but most days. But I'm getting not tired of making fun of the president, but at the same time, the guy just gives you so much material to work with. How can you not? Joe Biden yesterday was at an event. Again, we won't belabor on this because there's other things going on. It was actually kind of interesting when I was compiling the show this morning. It took a pretty interesting theme, a lot of revolving around the whole trans thing, which we'll get into in just a second. But to get through this really quick, Joe Biden, the sitting president of the United States, by the way, if you don't know that, was at some event. And here's the thing. I can understand when you feel like you've got the crowd going and you want to push it just a little bit more. I understand. That happened to me last night. Again, like I mentioned, I was at an event, sold out, I think 863 people in the arena, and we had to turn however many away. But I made some hilarious jokes on stage there, and you want to keep going. You got to laugh. You want to go. There must be a bigger laugh. You want to get that bigger laugh. And the problem with Joe Biden is he's not mentally capable of getting the bigger laugh without screwing things up. He was making fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene, which, whatever, it's his prerogative, it's his audience, so that's just politics. But they were laughing, having a good time, and then he reached for the stars to try and get this laugh, and it didn't go well for the president, and he's got himself in some hot water just with the insensitivity, probably, of this comment. Watch this, and we will discuss on the other side. Check it out.
Ours, the reason she was very specific. I shouldn't digress, probably. But I've read she was very specific recently, saying that a poor mother who lost 2 kids to fentanyl, that I killed her sons. Well, the interesting thing is that fentanyl they took came during the last administration.
Dude. Read the room. Again, you heard the beginning. They were laughing because he was making fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then he's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I probably shouldn't. He says that I probably shouldn't go off script here. But he was talking about this mother who testified in front of Congress who lost 2 sons to fentanyl doses, which is terrible. And the hearing was on the border and Biden's terrible handling of the border. That's no secret. And the president decided to make light of that, which I don't know. And you heard him kind of like chuckle at the end, like, see, because they died because the last administration. Well, I don't know if that's true. There's no way of knowing if that's true. I don't know the timeline of these 2 kids passing, but I doubt that there's any concrete evidence of we know that to be certain. But again, she was talking about the border overall as a whole. But 2, even if it was, that doesn't really make it okay. Like, yeah, let's just say hypothetically, we are certain that the fentanyl that those kids took that killed them came over during the previous administration. I don't think you get the joke about that. That's not. It's not a ha ha. Yeah, see, it wasn't me. It's that other guy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Read the room is all I'll say to the president. But again, like I said, I won't belabor on him continually because I feel like we have to do this every single day. If the guy would just stop talking into microphones, I would have to cover him talking into microphones much less. Let me go. Let's see. Let's go here because this is actually kind of interesting. Speaking of hearings in Congress, this is a Senate hearing yesterday, I believe, early morning yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter what time it took place yesterday. But you're familiar with the whole men in female prisons. I have a joke that that went nuts on the internet of, I have a solution for trans people in female prisons. I don't know the terminology. But the bottom line is a joke remarking on the fact that there was a trans. Okay, wait. Is a dude who went to a woman's prison because he said he was a woman. That's what, I don't know the terminology of who's what. I always get confused, which may be part of the marketing problem that they have. But there's a dude who went into a woman's prison and got 2 women pregnant in the jail, and who could have seen that coming? But this apparently is a much bigger issue than I guess I would have thought. I thought this is a couple isolated incidents. I know that the legality of it differs from place to place, but apparently Lindsey Graham brought up some statistics, and I thought it was fascinating. I didn't know how much of this was going on in the federal prisons. We're not even talking about state prisons or jails or any other detention facilities. But listen to what Lindsey Graham asks. And then I want you, I've got a little bit of insight into how jails work at the county level, obviously, because I don't know anybody in federal prison. But I know some people very, very well that work in a county jail. And what Merrick Garland answered is the exact opposite of what I know to be true in the culture of jails and detention facilities as a whole. Watch this, and we'll discuss on the other side.
When it comes to federal prisons, are you aware that 1,200 prisoners are requesting to be sent from a male prison to a female prison?
I'm not, no.
Okay. What is our policy when it comes to allowing a male prisoner to be transitioned into a female prison?
I think if you're generally asking the question of how trans people are dealt with in the Bureau of Prisons, my understanding is that these are determinations about where they're placed or where people are placed in general have to do with individualized determinations regarding the security of that individual and the management of the prison. These are done on a case-by-case basis. That's my understanding.
Are you aware of any policy guidelines that they use to make that determination?
I think there is a policy guideline along the lines that I just said that they are.
I would like for the Bureau of Prisons to send it to us. Are you concerned that if a biological male is sent to a female prison, that could be a risk to female prisoners?
I think every person in prison has to be dealt with dignity and respect. That determinations of the safety questions you're talking about have to be made on an individualized basis and not categorically.
Okay, so he said something there at the very end here. Now, okay, we can go through the beginning of that. It says, hey, Lindsey Graham said, did you know that all of this is happening in Merrick Garland? If we're being fair here, it probably doesn't have a super intimate ground level understanding of what's going on in the prisons. But he does oversee a lot of that. So, there's some culpability there. But then he says something that I think is fascinating, and it kind of really shifted the perspective that I had in detention facilities, but also if you think this way, I can see how you can be wrong about how you handle different situations regarding inmates. He said, what did he say? He said, prisoners must be treated with dignity and respect. A person that I know very, very well that works in a county detention facility on their first day was asked, how do you treat prisoners? And this person said, well, you treat them with respect. And the commanding officer, I'm not sure if it was, I'm not sure the level of the person training this person that I know said, no, that's wrong. You don't treat them with respect. You treat them with fairness. Because respect implies something that they've earned, which, given the fact that they're in prison or jail, sometimes before a trial, there is a concern or possibility that they've done something terrible. And in what way does that command respectful treatment? Now, that doesn't mean you should be treated unfairly, but there is a huge difference. If you're seeking to treat somebody with respect and dignity without any sort of earning that respect or dignity, you're going to look at things a lot differently than if you know that you need to treat a person with fairness. And I'm not trying to say you should mistreat inmates at all, but I just, that little rhetorical twist there that the Attorney General has in his mindset, I can totally understand. If that's how you believe the prison system or the detention system should work, you can come out with some pretty twisted views. Because if your goal is to respect prisoners and treat them with dignity, or inmates and treat them with dignity after being accused of probably some pretty bad crimes, which is the only way you get kept in jail nowadays, then you're going to be led down a path of, well, this is disrespectful to misgender them. Okay, well, that's how you get there. No, you treat inmates with fairness. That should be the standard, because fairness, everybody should be treated with fairness. But respect, it's got to be earned. So there's that. A little bit of a spiel. And going on with the theme of that, we'll get to this really quick because this is just kind of interesting. The whole trans thing. There's a part of me that thinks this is kind of mean. We just keep railing on this sort of stuff. But also, you need to be grounded in some sort of reality. Society and culture as a whole needs to be grounded in some sense of reality, connected to observations that are right in front of your eyes. This is a commercial for what is this, a candy bar? This is something, I think Hershey's is behind this. The Daily Wire tweeted this video. It's 15 seconds, and I'll show it to you. But I have a lot of thoughts. Well, watch this video, and let me know in the comment section what you think of this. Check this out.
My name is Faye Johnstone. I'm the Executive Director of Wisdom to Action. We can create a world where everyone is able to live in public space as their honest and authentic selves. See the women changing how we see the future at Hershey's Canada.
Okay, so Hershey's Canada is doing this thing. See the women changing how we see the future. Again, I don't know. I don't know if this is me saying this, but I watched that video. Okay, that's a dude. I guess, sorry, I don't know. Wow. It's funny. I watch these videos and I have a lot of thoughts that run through my head when we're getting ready, and then it comes on the show. I'm like, oh man, like, what do you even do with that? And I kind of thought while watching it the first time, like, how would I feel if there was something that I'm like super, super into? I don't know, whether it be, I'm trying to think of like things that I like really, 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 let's just dumb it down to this. Being an American. Let's just talk about that. Like, being an American person. I take pride in the fact that I'm an American citizen. I love this country and all of that stuff. If I saw a video of somebody who's never been to the United States, doesn't know the culture, doesn't speak any of the multitude of languages that we speak here now, goes on the internet and says, "This is how you be an American," I would look at that and go, well, but but you're not that. That's not that. You're just pretending to be, not even close to being that. I feel like that's how I would feel if I were a woman watching all of this stuff unfold constantly. Like, hey, like, you know, what happened? What happened to celebrating women in general that weren't at one time not women? Did they just get to take over everything and get endorsements from Hershey because marginalized? Yeah, I don't know. I probably have a lot more incendiary thoughts, but I don't know. At the end of the day, after I watch these things on this show, I just end up feeling bad. I don't know. Maybe this is part of this whole ESG thing. Hershey's trying to lean into the social governance nonsense, and yeah. Okay. Wow. Take a break. Wow. This has turned out to be a downer of a show. Sorry about that. I don't know. Just not as hip and peppy today. Well, let's get to this. Let's talk about this. This is a couple clips from the White House press briefing room press conference yesterday, where KJP said some hilarious, fun things. Wow. Some people in the comments section. Well, yeah. Sherry says it's time to cancel Hershey bars like we canceled M&Ms. Wow. Some people are willing to say a lot of things in the comment section, which, you know, hey, if you're on that train, you know, you do you. Because remember, in that commercial, the person did say, you want to be able to live your true self out in the open, unless you have ideas that combat the narrative, of course, which several of you in the comment section clearly do. But remember, that's the only way that you can't live your true and authentic self out in public, is if you combat the narrative in any way, shape, or form. Anyways, going back to this, KJP of the White House press briefing room, from the press briefing room podium, said some funny things, such as this. Remember the whole defund the police movement thing, which was very, very stupid, and nobody actually thinks that. Well, now, and this is not a new thing, but Democrats specifically are saying, yeah, that was a Republican thing. Republicans wanted to defund the police. Okay, all right, sure. If you think people will buy that, go for it. Watch this.
Congressional Republicans have been doing the opposite. When you think about the COPS program, which is something that the president put forward, they have wanted to defund that, to take that away. And if you think about that, that leads to defunding the police. Just recently, they called on defunding the FBI. And you think about the border security funding, they want to take that away as well.
Yeah. Okay. Again, just factually inaccurate. Like, we're not even like at this point, and I've complained about this so often. What is this called? We're living in a post-truth world. You can just say whatever you want. This right here, this motorcycle that I'm holding in my hand has been able to fly me around the world at a cost of 7 bananas and unicorn farts, which it uses for gas. You can just say things that don't make any sense, that aren't based in any sort of reality, and nobody, I don't know. If you think you can pull that one over on the American people, good luck with that. Moving on to this, talking about the student loan stunt. They know it was unconstitutional. They knew it was unconstitutional at the time, and it's going to get struck down in the Supreme Court. And this is what KJP has to say about it. Watch this.
The plan that we put forward in August is the plan that we have, right? Which is also a plan that you heard the Solicitor General really defend in a very strong and powerful way yesterday, and that's our plan. And we believe in our legal authority to get that done, to get it implemented.
Yeah. So they're claiming to think that there's actually a shot in the Supreme Court, that they have the legal authority to do all of this. I don't need to relitigate that right now, but this I thought was a funny quote from her also. Which actually, you know what? Hold on. We're going to give KJP some credit here. This, I've been saying that she's bad at her job, and she is. But this was actually a pretty good quip. Watch this.
Why is President Biden afraid of China?
The president is not afraid of China. Did you see the president last week when we went to We went to Ukraine, went to Kyiv. This is not a president that's afraid of anything. It was a historic trip.
That's pretty good. Peter Ducey asked, why is the president afraid of China? She said, not afraid of anything. Did you see when we were in Kyiv? Yeah, okay, that's a good press secretary quip back to the media. Now, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that the fearless, unafraid of anything president was the only person in the Situation Room that said, I don't think we should go after Osama bin Laden. I feel like we should maybe sit that one out. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, I believe all of the Joint Chiefs of Staff were in that room. Pretty much everybody, all of the higher ups in the cabinet that made big decisions militarily were like, go, we got the shot, let's take it. And Joe Biden, the fearless, unafraid, not afraid of anything president, was like, I don't know about that one. Who was it? There was some general, forget his name. It'll come to me as soon as the show ends. But wrote a book saying that, hey, just so we all know, Joe Biden has been wrong on every foreign policy decision he's ever made. Just flat out wrong, which I guess speaks to the president's understanding of China. Okay, full transition here. Let's get to, this is more media stuff. The whole climate change thing is huge, right? The whole ESG, environmental, social governance, that's the E in environments. And, lefties and Democrats like to use climate change and the climate and the environment and all that sort of stuff to make wide sweeping policy that isn't proven to be effective at all, and in some ways more not dangerous, but not as helpful as one might think. But at the forefront of the climate change debate is one Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg. Is it Greta Thunberg or Greta Thunberg? I don't actually know how to pronounce her name. Regardless of what her name is, she got arrested again in, where is this? I think this is France, but I'm not sure. She got arrested and she just fake chaining herself to some stairs and got carried away by police. Watch this, and then we'll revert back to a story that I didn't get to cover last month because I was in Switzerland, actually, interestingly enough, and then Greta was in Switzerland. We were in Davos specifically. We were both at the same place at the same time. I didn't run into her, but anyways, watch this of the climate change influencer, person of the year in 2019 Time Magazine, getting carried away by the police. I don't understand why she forces them to carry her away. I don't get it. You can walk. You should walk. But I guess the optics are better. Now, the reason I think this is interesting is, I didn't get to play this because we didn't do our show at all from Switzerland. But this is very, very similar to when she got, quote unquote, arrested in Germany. Again, all of this is a media push to try and shove climate change ineffective practices down everybody's throat. But this is her last 2 months ago in January, middle of January, getting arrested in Germany. Now, the first part of this clip is her taking photos and selfies with the police officers. And then the second part of this clip is how she was taken away and portrayed in the media. This is kind of long, but I think it's kind of fascinating. Watch this.
You also want
we're just taking photos with the cops. Can you get a photo of you holding your wrist?
Wie sieht's denn aus mit der Abfahrtsstraße?
So brave, Greta. So brave. Like, you got the camera guy in full view. You grab her wrist tighter. Grab her wrist tighter and okay. Yeah, so this is how the photo op got taken. Then here's her walking like a normal person. And then here's what played all throughout.
So the police the first person to the identity check. We inform you that you have...
here's my biggest complaint with all this. I thoroughly enjoy the environment. I love going out into nature and just sitting. That's like among my favorite things to do. I think we should do everything we can to protect the environment. But at the same time, you can't force policies onto people that aren't going to be proven to work and in some ways be worse for the environment. And stuff like this, this sort of stunt that Greta keeps pulling, and then the behind the scenes of like, hey, just so you know, this was clearly a media stunt, doesn't at all advance any sort of environmental protection stuff. Again, I'm not advocating for the government regulating more environment stuff. I'm just saying I enjoy nature. I really want to protect the environment. And stunts like this, not only do they not help, I think they hurt quite a bit. But, you know, such is that side of the aisle. You know what? That'll do. You know, okay, all right. That'll do it for us. But also, let me talk briefly. I got this sign. So last night, if you don't know, I was at a was fortunate enough to open an event for Charlie Kirk in Santa Barbara, California. The Live Free tour kicked off its first tour stop. Did I say what? I said Santa Barbara, right? UC Santa Barbara. Holy cow! If you were there, great to meet you. The audience was unbelievable. I think the theater sat 863 people, and it was full to capacity. And I think there had to be, unfortunately, people turned away at the door because there wasn't enough room to get in. But I had the chance to go on and talk right before Charlie, and then afterward. While he was talking, I went out. We went out with a camera crew. Maybe we'll play some of those videos in the future. We went out with the camera crew and just kind of hung out with the protesters. And I got this sign. UCSB against hate. So I really wanted to just come on here and say that it worked. There's somebody giving me this sign and me being able to hold it up outside of in a protest. Hate is gone now. We fixed it. Of course, that is not the case. But it is kind of funny. People sit here and I got this sign that said UCSB against hate. Somebody handed it to me and said, I think the exact words that they said were, here, take this sign, F these fascist pigs. Which, you know, sounds pretty dang hateful. And I also was kind of like, hey, you know, I kind of just want the government to stop wasting my money, but whatever names you want to call me and yell at me, even though you don't know who I am, because I changed my outfit. I wore a coat inside the actual speaking event and then went out in a jacket and a beanie. But I don't know, I just thought it was funny. They handed me the sign and said, we're against hate. F those people. Just kind of funny. Anything in the comments? Nope, we're good. Let's see. Anything happening? Oh, tomorrow I will be in Vista, California. If you want tickets, they're still available. You can go to my website, just jobob.me, and that's it. You can find the tickets there. We'll be in Vista, California tomorrow. Next week, Wednesday. Again, all of this is on my website, so we're good. Next week we'll be in Kentucky on Wednesday, and then University of Chicago on Thursday, University of Illinois, Chicago on Thursday. Kentucky will be with, University of Kentucky is Charlie Kirk, and then University of Chicago is myself, Charlie Kirk, and Candace Owens. It's going to be huge. It's going to be fun. But you can see all the events on my website, jobob.me. Also, if you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media platforms. Just type in jobob. You'll be able to find me pretty much anywhere. And I hope to see you. Yeah, hope to see you out in public on the road. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do. Like, hey, somebody comes up and says, hey, I watched the show. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. That'll do it for us today. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Until then, well, until in perpetuity, God bless America.